Welcome everybody back to Gambedo Gaming. Today we're taking another dive back into an official iceberg, looking at the game known as Super Mario Sunshine. It's getting bright out here, the iceberg's melting a little bit. We might be in for a little global warming or two, because we're diving deep into Super Mario Sunshine's morbid past. They have a couple tweets online that didn't age too well. Now we're going to take a look at the iceberg off of icebergcharts.com by this user right here. It's a great list. I've done like I've done in the past and hand selected a few entries I found interesting. I specifically left out glitches and skips and stuff like that from the game because I feel like those are harder to just talk about and more need to be shown. To be honest, I'm not trying to compile a Super Mario glitch compilation, so I've left those out, but they're still interesting entries, so I'll link the iceberg down below if you guys want to go read those. But for the most part, I'm going to be covering this whole iceberg. We're going to be doing the first 5 layers today, and yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Layer 1. Blue coins. Blue coins in Super Mario Sunshine acted as another collectible on top of the, 11 shines you gotta collect for each level. This was a way to kind of elongate the completion route for the game by several hours. And you might be thinking, how's a couple coins doing this? It's because there's 240 in the game. Yeah, try that out for size. What is this, Donkey Kong 64 all of a sudden? And it's not like they're just laying around either, alright? You're not just running into these like the moons in Mario Odyssey. These things usually require you to spray down some paint or do a small time puzzle or something, but 240 times of this, that's a little ridiculous, and it's honestly one of the reasons I still haven't 100%ed Super Mario Sunshine yet. Gnocchis and Piantas. Gnocchis and Piantas are the residents of Isle Delfino. These species differ greatly from the others in the Mushroom Kingdom, and their designs make them pretty much instantly recognizable. Oh, is that a Pokemon? Oh no, it's just the giant Squidward-nosed fuck from Delfino. Sup, homie? Seeing areas from other areas. One of the great ways Nintendo made Isle Delfino feel very connected was allowing players to see levels in the current level they're in. This was especially cool early in the game when you can see future levels, and it builds a natural excitement for progressing through the game. I always thought this was just such a great mechanic, and it was perfectly utilized in a game like this. Like, yeah, a Luigis Mansion game could have this, but it makes so much more sense for it to be a tropical island setting, where it's often the case that you can see other parts of an island on the island. So yeah, big fan of this one. Ill Piantisimo. Remember Koopa the Quick? Well, this is him now. Yeah, he looks like some great value piano. This guy's name is Ill Piantisimo, and he's the replacement for Koopa the Quick from Super Mario 64. And man, I'd say he's even faster than that sack of shell and bones could ever be. While he's not always presenting a challenge, later levels can be a little tricky. Not to mention, this guy kind of randomly shows up at the end of the game as a post-credits kind of weird ending. Obviously this never went anywhere, but maybe they were planning to have this guy be the villain of Mario Sunshine 2. A lot of people actually claim this guy's the Mel guy from the Zelda universe, both the Mailman and the Running Man, since without the mask, Piantisimo looks kind of eerily similar to the guy, and the obvious, they like to, book it. Running is life, man. Never stop running. The only thing I need on a desert island is my chug bottle full of water, because I'm going to be running laps around it. Egad made Flood and the Paintbrush. A weird twist to better tie in Super Mario Sunshine with the other big GameCube Mario game at the time, Luigis Mansion, was the introduction of Professor Egad into the story of Sunshine. This was another risk that I think paid off great for the story. It was such a weird twist that immediately added so much depth to a character that is prominent in a whole other game. Like, Egad never shows up in Sunshine, besides his logos on these objects. Yet, this makes me feel like Egad may not be all he seems. At least from what Luigi's Mansion presented. Perhaps he's secretly a weapon dealer against the Mushroom Kingdom, fueling the war of Koopas versus the kingdom, all while profiting in the background. Kind of reminds me of that movie with Jonah Hill in it.
Alright, okay. Yo.
Fruits and Yoshi types. They brought back Yoshi in this game, and this time he was actually usable, but it was still pretty limited. Yoshi is on a timer, and the only way to reset this timer is to eat more fruit. And depending on what kind of fruit you eat, Yoshi changes to the corresponding color of the fruit, kind of like a gross chameleon creature. Got him. Yoshi also vomits as one of his moves, which is kind of disturbing. Like, that's just straight acid reflux coming out. Yeah, man, Yoshi partied a little too much last night. Shouldn't have had all that Diablo sauce with your Taco Bell, huh, Yoshi? Spitting straight fire. Pinball level. This level is regarded as one of the 2 of the hardest bonus levels in Super Mario Sunshine. This one is particularly frustrating because of how long it takes. Basically, every attempt grants you 1 coin if you're lucky, and every time you have to reset yourself like a pinball. It is also very easy to miss a ledge and fall to your death, and you just wipe all the progress you just did. You could easily spend 10 plus minutes per attempt and lose it all to a risky maneuver. And man, at the end of the day, this level just fucking sucks.
Yes? Yes, just fall. Just oh my god! Are you fucking kidding me? What happened? What happened? No! I'm out! I'm out!
Layer 2. Book in the Bottle. The Book in the Bottle is a topic I discussed in the Strange Mario Oddities Iceberg. It is a prominent mystery from Super Mario Sunshine and mostly remains unsolved. The book is located in the Noki Bay level after the old man Noki gives you a mission to shrink down in size and go in his old Jack Daniels bottle and fish out some old gum or something. Nah, but in reality it's just a strange red coin mission. Among the rubble at the bottom of the bottle is a mysterious door. And on the other side of this door lies the mysterious book. Many think the book could be like a secret level warp or something, or maybe even the fact that it was the original purpose of this bottle mission, but was scrapped for a red coin mission instead. Whatever the case, I bet the book was something pretty valuable, I bet it's like the Mario universe's Death Note or something. I know what name Mario's writing immediately when he gets a hold of it. Other islands. So we've already established that you can see other islands from the level you're currently in, but you can actually see several unused islands in the game as well. During the intro of the game, you can see 2 adjacent islands to Isle Delfino that resemble a crab and a turtle. Since Isle Delfino itself is shaped like a dolphin, it is likely that these islands had a good chance of being in the final game but went unused. This would be a cool idea for DLC, but this was kind of back in the day when DLC wasn't happening for mainline Mario games yet, so, we could only dream of what this could have been. Regular ending. After you defeat Bowser and save the princess, along with a, daytime soap opera ass ending where Flood almost dies, you're greeted with a strange post-credit scene. It is of the aforementioned Ill Piantisimo, finding the paintbrush Bowser Jr. used throughout the game. We know that this is the brush that caused all the goop to appear in the first place, and well, since, old Ill wasn't so nice to us during our races, we can only assume that the power he will consume, well, he'll use it for evil. Or that's what was supposed to happen in case Nintendo ever made a sequel to Mario Sunshine. This is the best explanation for what's going on here, but I remember seeing this as a kid all the time and being hella confused as to what it was supposed to mean. Like, am I supposed to fear this guy now? Is he supposed to be Thanos? Doot sisters. Doot doodaloot doot. One of the many ways Nintendo made Isle Delfino feel so unique and lively was to create unique NPCs. One group of NPCs was known as the Doot Sisters, which was a musical group made up of 3 pianos, 2 of which dance and the other plays the ukulele. They appear in several levels and specific episodes, and is kind of always a treat to run into them. You always are like, oh yeah, that's that one group, that one traveling band. Band on the Run. Remember that song? Stuff like this really makes the world feel connected. Too bad though, because the name of their band kind of fucking sucks, dude. Doot. Might as well call it Boot the Snoot or some stupid Reddit shit like that. Voice clips. This seems to be referencing some of the strange voice clips some of the characters have. The characters outside of cutscenes have a Sims-type communication pattern where they just kind of blabber whatever comes to mind, and it doesn't really make any sense. However, I'd like to take this time to call out Super Mario Sunshine for one of the worst additions to the Mario universe, and that is adding voices for the characters. Listen, I know not much has changed, especially with this piece of garbage coming out soon, but Super Mario Sunshine was rough in the voice acting department. I mean, the closing scene with Bowser just drove me nuts. Even as a kid, dude. Like, I hadn't even seen Daniel Day-Lewis break it down on the big screen yet.
Junior, I've got something difficult to tell you about Princess Peach.
I know, she's not really my mama.
I'm just saying, it doesn't take a genius to see that this is some of the worst voice acting in any game ever. I feel like I've been waiting a decade to get that off my chest. Holy shit. Swiping stews. Stews are these little dudes throughout the game. My best description of them is Sunshine's version of a Goomba. They can be seen throughout the game and have several variations. And one of these variations works a lot like Ukiki from Tall Tall Mountain in Super Mario 64, where the swiping stew will actually steal Mario's hat and end up wearing it. Although after Mario Odyssey came out, this just looks like Mario captured a swiping stew with Cappy, and I can't tell which one's the real Mario now, dude. I got a gun up Like that SpongeBob episode. Which one's the real Mario? Luigis Mansion reference. Luigi's Mansion was one of the biggest games for Nintendo GameCube, so it's no surprise there's a reference hidden in Super Mario Sunshine. This is specific to Serena Beach that contains a haunted hotel, and there's a piano that's just sucking up all the ghosts that are haunting the hotel with a vacuum. Too bad Egad was too busy making bioweapons for the Koopalings and instead sent Luigi to an abandoned shack in the woods instead of this haunted hotel Mario was at. The actual best way to dispose of booze in Mario Sunshine is actually Yoshi, who can just swallow them whole. He's out here swallowing air. Dude's just taking big gulps of air. Retro bosses and Flood. When the character Flood first boots up, he scans Mario and enters his ugly ass mug into his databases. Players may notice some other things happening in Flood's HUD, and that is a small screen in the corner that recounts all of Mario's past fights. I like to think this is Flood scanning Mario's past fights to see if he's a threat or not. Considering he kicked ass in most of the clips, I'm sure Flood was pretty scared that Mario thought he was Bowser or something. But nah, instead of getting beat up, he gets to be on Mario's sweaty back for a bad weekend. I bet you would have rather get your shit kicked out of you, huh? Layer 3. Cug. Cug is a cut character from Mario Sunshine. It appears this enemy was going to act similarly to the stews in the game. However, when he is revealed in the game's files, he only appears as a 2D sprite. He can actually be found in the game hiding under Pinna Park and is interactable if Mario clips out of bounds. It is unknown if Cug was meant to be an actual enemy or not, but considering he was 2D, I think he may have been some sort of toxic paint enemy who would hang on a wall or something and shoot Mario. Either that or he could have been a spawner for stews that was cut from the game. 120 shine ending. Like many 3D collectathons back in the day, the prize for beating the game 100% is absolutely not worth it. I mean, I guess it really depends on how you feel about collecting all of those blue coins, but if I'm gonna break my back doing all that, I'm gonna need more than just a picture of the game's cast in front of a casino before Mario blew all the money he made through the game on slots and went home and blacked out. Yeah, Peach said he used Flood's mouth to funnel beer straight down his Italian gullet, dude. There's no pictures of that, is there? I guess this isn't the worst 100% completion ending, to be honest, but I still feel like an extra cutscene or something would have been more warranted here. Duck Ring Riders. Super Mario Sunshine is very detailed in its world design, everything from connected worlds to the creatures that inhabit it. Throughout the game, you can talk to most of the characters you see, and this even includes some of these swimming piantas in the intro to the Yoshi mission in Rico Harbor. If you've seen these guys before, you may not have known that you can actually talk to them, and that's because you can't simply just talk to them while you're swimming in the water, but instead you have to wait for them to swim up to the ledge where Mario's standing to talk to them. Not only is this the only way to talk to these characters and to see this unique dialogue, but if you talk to all 3 of the pianas, the last one will give you a 1-up for talking to them all. I mean, the fact this was put in the game, it reminds me of the 4 corners of that room in the Slide and Tall Mountain in Mario 64. This is just such a crazy thing to put in the game, and I mean, it must have taken years for somebody to find this. Well, listen, I would have never run into this naturally, because the second I see I can't talk to someone, I'm full sprinting away. No way was I waiting for homie to wade his way over to me, just so I can get some shitty dialogue from him. I'm out of there. Layer 4. Clean is better than dirty commercial. This entry may contain the scariest thing in the whole list, climate change. Nah, but this is a commercial for the game near the release that promoted earth-friendly activities for kids to learn. Things like picking up garbage and shit. They even had a real-life Mario and a real-life Flood, and they were picking up what seems to be the grossest thing I've ever seen. Look at this thing. This is a diaper filled with diarrhea and puke, and even sludges off a bit when he picks it up. You can see him kind of like fucking shake it off a little bit. Like, you know, whatever syrupy monstrosity that they were used to make this prop got on Mario dude's hand for the rest of the shoot, and he was just either sticking it, smelling it. Ugh. Anyway, the real scariest thing in this video is this real-life Mario suit. I don't know if it's just his big head or his regular long human limbs that make him off-putting, but I think it's hilarious that he picks up one piece of really gross trash and he's like, fuck this, I'm out. I mean, I can't blame the guy, right? I wouldn't want to keep picking up sun-baked gelato shits. Sky Banana. In the 4th mission of Pinna Park in the Entry Beach area, there's a strange banana bunch that is located miles above the level. By using camera hacks, you can bring the camera up to zoom out to see the banana bunch as it's not visible from the ground. You can get Mario up to the banana bunch actually by using a method known as rocket storage, where you can store vertical momentum by canceling rocket jumps and sidestepping off a ledge. When you reach a banana bunch, you can spray it and it causes it to gain collision and fall back down to earth with Mario. And from here, you can carry the fruit as if it were any other fruit. A video by a YouTube user named Scrumpy goes into more detail of how you can get the banana bunch. So you should watch that video if this entry intrigued you. This simply seems like a misplaced spawner for bananas, or maybe a placeholder that was just left in the game by accident. Sand bomb base shit. In the Gelato Beach stage, there are several sand formations that are used to take out the Wiggler boss in one of the later episodes. These formations have file names in the code that correspond to the formation it represents. Take for example the file name Sand Bomb Base Pyramid, represents the pyramid sandcastle that appears in the game. So yeah, if we take that name format, what do you think the file for the file name Sandbomb Base Shit means? Okay, well, it really depends on how we look at the file name. I think we all see what we're seeing right now, but perhaps it's pronounced Sandbomb Bases Hit. So bases is plural, which would make more sense since they are used to hit the Wiggler, you know. Bases hit. But wait, let's take a look at that last naming scheme one more time. Was the bases tag plural in the pyramid one? Oh yeah, that's right, it wasn't. So that means this one does read Sandbomb Base Shit. Holy shit, they actually did it. They left a real life curse in a Mario game. This is actually just fucking hilarious because you know it's just some random Japanese dude who was having a bad day and snuck that into a kid's game. No one would ever find it. Well, guess what, dude? A decade and a half later, you're getting exposed. Random Japanese game developer coming for you, dude. Peach's earring eyes. When the plane first lands in Isle Delfino's airport, there's a cutscene where Peach can be seen standing in the background. If we look closely, we can actually notice that Peach's earrings are different than they appear in the rest of the game. If we scan and zoom in closer, CSI style, we can actually see that these are Peach's eyeball earrings. Yeah, they're her favorite one. She gouged out Daisy's eyes and wears them only on special occasions, just like taking a vacation. In reality, this is just a texture glitch that replaces Peach's light blue earrings with textures of her eyes. This is very creepy and kind of disturbing to run across naturally. It is even present in the most recent release of the game in 3D All-Stars. I feel like this should have been on the higher priority list for changes in the re-release, but nah, let's take out the BLJ in Super Mario 64. But we still have to look at Peach's fucked up gore jewelry, looking like Daryl Dixon rolling through with his ear necklace. The fuck is this shit? Serena Beach GameCube controller. There are a lot of things that are revealed in Super Mario Sunshine when the camera is taken above, like the islands being shaped like sea animals. This is even apparent in level Serena Beach when the camera is taken above at a bird's eye view. We can look down and it's revealed that the top part of the beach is actually shaped like a GameCube controller. It seems pretty purposeful, honestly, especially since Nintendo liked to hide small Easter eggs in this game. The part that really ties it together though for me is the top right of the fountain, which has segmented parts for the buttons on the GameCube controller. This is a really cool detail that you wouldn't notice without the aerial view of the level. I never knew about this, and I feel like there is way more like this in the game that hasn't been found yet. Ill Piantisimo is the Running Man. As mentioned before, there is a theory that Ill Piantisimo is the Running Man from Legend of Zelda universe. The Running Man is a character from Ocarina of Time who likes running. This character also reappeared as the Mailman in Majora's Mask. At least he finally got a job using his skill of running. Jesus. When removing Ill Piantisimo's mask, it is revealed that he looks eerily similar to the Running Man. I doubt this was purposeful, as there's no natural way to see Ill's face without removing it with hacks. This was just likely a case of reusing assets from Nintendo's asset vault. You know, they just have a huge asset vault where all the just worst of the worst assets are. This way they could still have a face for the characters for things peeking through the mask like his eyes, but they didn't have to fully model a new character. However, it is cool to think that these universes are actually connected and this random dude is the missing link. It is also worth mentioning that Isle Delfino inhabitants say Ill is rogue, a creep, and not related to pianas. This could just be referencing his shoddy costume, but it could also mean he's not from this universe, i.e. he's actually from the Zelda universe. Layer 5. Space World 2001 trailer. Space World used to be a conference that took place where Nintendo would show off early trailers for their upcoming games. A specifically eventful year was Space World 2001, where an early trailer for Super Mario Sunshine was shown. This was one of the first times Mario Sunshine was shown, and well, it really shows. This trailer shows off a much different game than the one we got, and I'll just run through some of the differences right now. Off the rip, we can see that the UI is much different. It is much more simple with only 2 icons on the screen. There's a strange sun coin counter in the bottom left. You know, that just seems to be a regular coin counter before the devs made them regular Mario coins. I think they were these sun coins or something. There's another icon which represents how much water FLUDD has left and is also held within a sun icon. Let's take a look around Delfino Plaza, you know, let's see what it was looking like in the Days pass. From what I can tell, this is a very different layout from the final plaza layout they chose. There's also footage from what seems like an early version of Bianco Hills here. There's an enemy that we will get into later on the Iceberg known as Tramplin' Stew, running around most of these levels. This enemy towers over Mario and doesn't appear in the final game for some reason. The last biggest weird thing is a couple second shot of Mario running past a human NPC in the plaza. This appears to be an NPC girl that Mario could interact with. To me, it kind of resembles that of a Legend of Zelda human, maybe from Majora's Mask or Ocarina of Time, but this would have been really weird to see other humans that aren't the main Mario cast, as they usually don't appear in Mario games, albeit Odyssey's New Donk City, but up until this point, it would have been really weird to run into a human character. I'm glad they ended up cutting this character and just stuck with the unique designs of pianos and Nokis. I feel like humans might have resulted in a weird, Sonic 06 type thing. Lava Cheep Cheeps. The Corona Mountain level leading to the final Bowser battle is frustrating if you aren't good at controlling the boat, but you'd be lying if you said the level didn't look cool as hell, right? We can all agree. This shit rocks. It definitely feels like a final level just in the theming alone. I mean, you're inside of an active volcano. What? One of the enemies that appear only in the Corona Mountain are a unique version of the Cheep Cheep fish, which is just, the typical fish that appear in most Mario games. These Cheep Cheep are a darker red color and feature flowery eyes that many believe are a direct reference to the to the Dia de Muertos. Yeah, I winded that up. Whatever, fuck you. Which is a Mexican holiday that celebrate the dead by placing flowers in their eyes. So many players from this have assumed that these Cheep Cheeps are actually already dead, and this is the reason they are able to swim in the lava without dying. I gotta be honest, this is pretty fucked up, because Bowser had to resurrect these dead fish only to curse them to then swim in the lava in an active volcano. And it's not even like they're in Mario's way, really. Like, the most dangerous thing in this level is the walls in which you can slam your boat into. Like, it's just a Titanic simulator, and these guys they're not even close. The Shining reference. The Shining is a great horror story that was made into a pretty great horror film. It became a classic pretty quickly and was referenced to hell and back in Hollywood. Apparently its reach even made its way to Nintendo's doorstep, as there is a pretty big reference to an excerpt from the book. In the book, a ghostly apparition is described as a manta ray, a ghostly manta shape floating away from the hotel. It was paper thin like a shadow, and then broke into smaller forms before turning into smoke and drifting away. When you really break down this quote from the book and the boss battle from the haunted hotel level, it is 100% a reference to The Shining, even down to the fact that the manta rays break into smaller manta rays and poof into smoke when they're defeated. Like, that is exactly what's happening in this boss battle. This is such a cool reference from an already creepy level. Knowing that there was always a chance to have the ghost twins in the Serena hotel makes it even more creepy to roam the empty hallways. Test level. Like many games of this era, there are hidden test levels within the game. There is one main test level in the Super Mario Sunshine that is a playground for everything and anything you could want to do in Super Mario Sunshine. Many games will have several test levels, but Mario Sunshine devs decided to just cram everything they wanted to test inside one level, so everything feels very cramped and claustrophobic. I feel bad for the NPCs who are stuck down here forever. They're fucked. And the only thing they can say is a generic error message. Yeah, I take your I am error and raise you a message can't be loaded Pianta. You're fucking out. I won. Give me your whole hand. Give me all your chips. Alright, that was the first part of Super Mario Sunshine Iceberg. If you'd like to see the second part, leave a like. Next episode, I will be tackling the last 3 layers. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but there's a lot of entries in the last 3, so it'll probably be the same length as this video. Yeah, if you guys want to see that, let me know in the comments or just by leaving a like. And if you found my channel from this video and enjoyed it, I have an Icebergs playlist on my channel that will be linked below. And I'm constantly uploading content like this, so please consider subscribing. And thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.